Have you ever struggled to fall asleep, scrolling through your phone? Trying every new sleep app, and still finding yourself wide awake? What if the secret to a perfect night's sleep isn't a new technology, but a 2,000-year-old ritual? Tonight, we're journeying back to ancient Rome, stepping into the twilight hours to uncover the forgotten, calming practices that helped an empire rest. Forget the chaos of modern life. Let's rediscover how the Romans prepared their bodies and minds for a night of deep, restorative slumber. Imagine the sun setting over the 7 hills of Rome, casting a warm, golden glow on marble and travertine. For the Romans, the end of the day wasn't a rush, but a gradual, deliberate process of unwinding, and it often began at the bathhouse. The Roman baths, or thermae, were far more than just a place to get clean. They were the social and spiritual heart of the city, sanctuary where business, stress, and the weight of the day were washed away. The ritual was a journey through temperatures. You'd start in the tepidarium, a warm room where your body could gently acclimate. The air would be humid, filled with the low hum of quiet conversations. Here, the day's tensions began to melt. It was a space for socializing, for catching up with friends, but in a relaxed, unhurried manner. Think of it as the ancient equivalent of a community wellness center, where the primary goal was to transition from the public world to a state of personal peace. From there, you would move to the caldarium, the hot room. This was the core of the experience. The air was thick with steam, heated by the ingenious Roman hypocaust system that ran beneath the floors. This wasn't just about heat. It was a sensory immersion. Servants would anoint your skin with fragrant oils, lavender, chamomile, or rosewood would release their calming aromas into the steam. The heat would open your pores, relax your muscles, and encourage a deep, cleansing sweat. This was a place of profound physical release, a way to detoxify the body and quiet the mind. Finally, the ritual would conclude with a daring plunge into the frigidarium, a cold pool. The shock of the cold water was invigorating, closed the pores, stimulated circulation, and jolted the senses, leaving you feeling utterly refreshed and alive. This contrast of hot and cold wasn't just for physical benefit. It was a symbolic act, a way of resetting the body and mind, leaving you in a state of perfect equilibrium, ready for rest. The entire process was a mindful practice, a focused preparation for the tranquility of the night. After the bath, it was time for the cena, the evening meal, though this wasn't a heavy, elaborate feast. For most Romans, the main meal was eaten midday. The evening meal was deliberately light to ensure a comfortable night's sleep. It might consist of simple pulses like lentils or chickpeas, a piece of bread, some fresh cheese, and seasonal fruits like figs or grapes. Heavy, rich foods were understood to disrupt digestion and consequently sleep. The Romans knew instinctively, what we now know scientifically. A light stomach leads to a heavier, more peaceful sleep. And what did they drink? Wine, of course, but not as we might drink it today. Roman wine was strong and was almost always diluted with water. For the evening, this mixture would be even weaker. The goal wasn't intoxication, but gentle relaxation. A small, watered-down cup of wine was a mild sedative, a way to calm the nerves and ease into a state of repose. Fresh, clean water was also paramount, seen as a purifier for the body before entering the sacred state of sleep. They understood the importance of hydration, but also the art of moderation. With the body cleansed and nourished, the mind needed to unwind. The Roman evening wasn't filled with the bright, stimulating screens we have today. Instead, it was a time for gentler pleasures. The soft plucking of a lyre or the mellow notes of a flute might drift through the villa. Storytelling was a cherished art, with family members recounting myths, legends, or the events of the day. For the literate and wealthy, a slave might read aloud from a scroll of poetry or philosophy. Imagine listening to the verses of Virgil or the stoic wisdom of Seneca by the soft flicker of an oil lamp. This was entertainment that soothed the soul rather than electrifying the senses. It was a conscious choice to wind down the mind, replacing the day's anxieties with beauty, wisdom, and imagination. As the evening drew to a close, it was time to prepare for bed. The Romans didn't have pajamas, but they did change their attire. The formal, sometimes cumbersome toga of the day was shed. In its place, they would don a simple, loose-fitting tunic, usually made of linen or wool. This garment was all about comfort and freedom of movement. It allowed the skin to breathe and the body to relax completely, unconstrained by the formal wear of public life. The beds themselves varied greatly by social class. The poor might sleep on a simple mattress stuffed with straw or reeds laid out on the floor. For the wealthy, however, comfort was key. They slept on raised bedsteads, often intricately carved from wood or cast in bronze. Their mattresses were plumply stuffed with soft feathers or wool, creating a luxurious and inviting nest. Pillows, known as cervicalia, were also essential. They supported the head and neck, a small but crucial detail for a comfortable posture throughout the night. The Romans also had an intuitive understanding of what we now call sleep hygiene. Bedrooms or cubicula were often small, interior rooms, which helped to block out noise and light from the street. They understood the importance of a quiet, dark environment. Whenever possible, windows or shutters would be opened to allow for good air circulation, ensuring the room didn't become stuffy. It was a simple, practical approach to creating a space that was wholly dedicated to rest, a sanctuary from the bustling world outside. But the final, and perhaps most important preparation for sleep was internal. For those who followed philosophies like Stoicism, the moments before sleep were a time for quiet reflection. A Stoic, like Marcus Aurelius, would have used this time to review his day, not with judgment, but with calm observation. He would ask himself, what did I do well? Or could I have been better? How did I live in accordance with nature and virtue? This mental exercise wasn't meant to stir up anxiety, but to clear the mental slate, to process the day's events so they wouldn't churn in the mind all night. It was a way of achieving peace and resolving the day's struggles before surrendering to sleep. Dreams held a profound significance for the Romans. They weren't just random brain activity. They were believed to be messages, omens, or visits from the gods or the spirits of the departed. To prepare for this spiritual journey, one had to have a calm mind and a pure body. Some might even say a small prayer to Somnus, the god of sleep, asking for peaceful rest and meaningful dreams. Entering sleep was like crossing a threshold into another realm, and it was a passage to be made with respect and intention. So, as you prepare for your own sleep tonight, perhaps you can invite a touch of ancient Rome into your routine. You don't need a full bathhouse, but you can take a warm bath with scented oils. You can trade a heavy meal for a lighter one. You can put away your phone and instead listen to calming music or read a few pages from a book. You can take a moment to quietly reflect on your day, letting go of what you can't control. The Romans teach us that sleep is not a switch to be flipped, but a destination to be arrived at, slowly and mindfully. It's a ritual of release, a ceremony of calm. By embracing these ancient practices, we might just find the deep, peaceful slumber we've been dreaming of. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the Roman night. May your sleep be peaceful and your dreams be sweet. Good night.